Imagine commanding the ultimate weapon, an army that cannot be harmed, an unstoppable force guaranteeing victory. Now imagine willingly giving that up, not just out of mercy or honor, but because holding onto that power would cost you something far greater. This was Aragorn's choice, a choice that defined not just a king, but the very soul of Middle-earth itself. Why didn't he use the army of the dead? Because for Aragorn, some victories destroy more than they save. Hello friends, and welcome to Middle-earth Unveiled. I'm glad you're here. Together, let's uncover the deeper truth behind one of Aragorn's greatest decisions. Picture stepping into darkness itself, entering a place shunned by life and haunted by regret. This was the paths of the dead, a road that no living man dared tread. It was not merely a tunnel beneath the mountains. It was a gate into despair, a boundary between courage and madness. The air pressed in thick and heavy, as if sorrow itself had gathered here to linger eternally. Your breath misted before your face, each exhale a small surrender to the chill creeping into your bones. Echoes whispered from every stone, half-heard lamentations and fragmented pleas drifting like restless phantoms. With every hesitant step, dread grew sharper, panic closer, and shadows more menacing. On either side loomed ancient carvings, kings long dead gazing sternly from stone, their faces weathered by time and forgotten dreams. Bones lay scattered underfoot, brittle testimonies to mortal terror, remnants of brave souls who tried and failed to traverse this haunted path. But why had this place become cursed? What terrible betrayal stained these stones? Centuries before, in the bright days of the Second Age, these mountains were home to proud and noble warriors, sworn allies to Isildur of Gondor, united by a common enemy named Sauron, whose darkness threatened to consume the world. These allies pledged loyalty, honor, and courage. Yet, when Isildur's call came, they faltered. Terrified by the Dark Lord's might, they fled into these very hills, abandoning the battlefield and breaking their solemn vow. Their treachery earned them Isildur's bitter curse. As Tolkien writes in The Return of the King, "But when he laid his curse upon them, they fled before him, and their terror was like a shadow in the hills, until they should fulfill their oath. Bound by guilt and remorse, they became trapped between life and death, lingering here in restless anguish, forever waiting for release, a redemption promised but never delivered, until Aragorn came. He entered this darkness willingly, knowing death, madness, or worse, awaited him, yet driven by a need greater than fear, the hope of redemption. Summoning the Oathbreakers, Aragorn offered them one final chance to fulfill their promise and break the chains that bound them. And so, at Pelargir, these cursed warriors swept across the battlefield. Their spectral forms surged forward, a tide of ghostly terror. They could not be wounded. Blades passed through them uselessly, arrows shattered like glass against mist. Their presence alone ended the battle in moments, decimating the feared corsairs of Umbar and securing Aragorn's victory. Yet even with all this power at his command, Aragorn chose to set them free, to grant mercy instead of wielding endless, unstoppable force. Was it compassion, or was it a mistake? Oaths shape Middle-earth, often with greater force than swords, rings, or armies. Consider Fëanor, the most gifted craftsman among the elves, whose talents shone brighter than stars. But grief darkened his heart when Morgoth stole the Silmarils, jewels crafted with unmatched beauty and brilliance. Consumed by anguish, Fëanor swore a terrible oath alongside his sons, binding them forever. This was his oath: to pursue with vengeance and hatred to the ends of the world any creature, great or small, good or evil, who withheld the Silmarils. The consequences were devastating. His vow twisted noble intentions into ruthless obsession, spilling innocent blood and igniting wars that consumed kingdoms and families alike. Time and again, opportunities for peace were squandered, alliances shattered, friendships betrayed. The elves themselves fractured, turning blade against kin. Even victories felt hollow, poisoned by the endless cost of pride and vengeance. Why did Fëanor persist? even when the ruin was clear, because pride blinds reason. His oath became not a promise, but a curse, inescapable, destructive, and ultimately tragic. Now consider Isildur, heir of Numenor, who stood on the very brink of destiny. At the fires of Mount Doom, he swore before Elrond, "This I will have as weregild for my father's death and my brother's. But in this deed, I swear, it will perish here." Yet at that fateful moment, the ring whispered promises of power, glory, dominion. Isildur hesitated, torn between duty and desire. Perhaps he saw Gondor triumphant under his rule, or himself as a king whose power would deter all darkness. Whatever his rationale, he convinced himself to break his oath, choosing power instead of sacrifice. His choice cost Middle-earth 3,000 years of darkness and struggle, bearing witness to the terrible truth that broken oaths cast long shadows, lingering for generations. Both Fëanor and Isildur teach us the tragedy that follows oaths made in pride or ambition. Their stories show how easily noble intentions twist into ruin, revealing Tolkien's profound insight into human nature. Promises kept or broken shape not just our lives, but the very fabric of the world around us. But Aragorn stands apart. He too faced temptation, a force powerful enough to conquer nations. But his oath was rooted not in pride, but in humility. He promised redemption, not vengeance. He chose mercy over power. Yet what if he hadn't? What if, like his ancestors, Aragorn had clung to victory at any cost? Would the story of Middle-earth be one of redemption or ruin? Imagine a world where Aragorn took the army of the dead straight to Mordor's gates. Would victory still be assured? Or would the price be unbearable? Tolkien fans have been asking for a while now, what if Aragorn had chosen differently? Imagine Aragorn leading the army of the dead straight to Mordor's gates. Spectral warriors surging forward, unstoppable and relentless. Their mere presence striking fear so profound, it robbed enemies of their strength, leaving them frozen and trembling. At first glance, the victory seems inevitable. But look closer. The Black Gate looms, an iron fortress bristling with spears. As Aragorn approaches, Sauron's desperation awakens something terrifying. His armies, cornered like wild beasts, fight with a frenzy born of absolute despair. Orcs battle without hesitation, knowing defeat means oblivion. Easterlings and Haradrim, driven by sheer panic, fight with savage ferocity. Sauron, sensing imminent defeat, unleashes every weapon at his command, and high above, something darker stirs. The Nazgul, those dreadful shadows of fallen kings, descend fully unleashed. Their mounts scream, shattering courage and hope. The Witch King himself rides forth, terrible and unstoppable, drawing strength from Sauron's despair. Aragorn's men, brave but mortal, begin to falter beneath the weight of such relentless horror. And what of Frodo, quietly sneaking through the poisoned fields of Gorgoroth? With the enemy cornered and desperate, the eye of Sauron scours every stone, every crack, every crevice of Mordor. Would Frodo and Sam remain unnoticed? Or would the ring finally betray them, drawn irresistibly into its master's hands? Even if Aragorn prevailed at the Black Gate, victory would ring hollow. Gondor would rise, not in hope, but in terror. Aragorn, once the symbol of restoration, would become a king feared rather than beloved, haunted by whispers of tyranny. He might have won the battle, but at the cost of his very soul. No, Aragorn knew this victory could never truly be victory. He knew the line he must never cross. Power wielded without compassion leaves scars no healer could mend. Yet, in choosing mercy, Aragorn won something far greater. He preserved the humanity of Gondor, ensuring that the new age would be defined not by dread, but by hope. This was Aragorn's triumph. But how did Aragorn's decision shape the very heart of Tolkien's vision of true kingship? So, why didn't Aragorn continue to use the army of the dead in the war against Sauron? Aragorn's choice reveals a central truth Tolkien believed deeply. True strength is not power wielded, but power relinquished. Consider Boromir, who desired power to save his people, yet lost himself. Consider Denethor, consumed by despair and pride. Aragorn, in contrast, rejected dominion, choosing mercy and healing instead. He fulfilled Tolkien's vision, that a true king's hands heal more than they harm. The hands of the king are the hands of a healer, and so shall the rightful king be known. By releasing the dead, Aragorn not only freed them, but also freed himself from the seduction of absolute power. His victory was not just martial, it was moral. In Tolkien's world, fate is shaped not by might, but by mercy. Redemption triumphs over ruin, and hope endures where fear fails. And now, a question for you. Would you have released the dead, choosing mercy over might? Do you believe power inevitably corrupts? Or can a leader balance strength with compassion? Tell us your thoughts below. Share your favorite Aragorn moment or quote, and explore other intriguing Middle-earth mysteries on our channel. And remember, true power isn't found in domination, but in choices made with courage and compassion. Stay curious, stay enchanted, and keep exploring the depths of Middle-earth. This has been Middle-earth Unveiled.